Aren't you wondering as to why I'm out of breath?
Why?
You're never gonna believe it, but I was being chased by some kind of monster. It was yellow, had long spiky quills running across its back, shot lightning from its cheeks, and was horrifically deformed. Oh, I get it. You don't believe me. Well, I find that hard to believe, considering you yourself are some kind of monster.
What did you just call me?
It's true. Only a monster would so coldly ignore his friend's story.
First of all, monster is our word. You can say monster. Secondly, don't even say monster. The politically correct term is cryptid, so use that.
So what I ran into was some sort of cryptid then?
Sounds like it, but none I've ever heard of, which actually does pique my curiosity a bit. I haven't done this in a while, but we're gonna need to consult the best source of information on cryptids that I know.
Ah, sweet. I'm finally gonna get to meet the elders of your clan?
Hell no, those old senile bags don't know jack. I'm talking about the Cryptids Wiki.
A fandom Wikipedia? Are you being serious right now? The scariest thing we'll find on there is all those pop-up ads.
Dead serious. I've learned more about myself on this site than anything my dumb-ass parents could have taught me.
Well shit, if you say it's that useful, then let's go right ahead and find my creature.
Easier said than done. You can't exactly search by appearance.
The wiki pages have photos attached to each cryptid though, right? That means we can at least rule out what it isn't.
What if they're shapeshifters?
Touché. I guess we're gonna have to brute force this one creature at a time then. Starting with the Albao-aku. According to its page, the Albao-aku is a creature from Malay mythology. Hey, wait a minute, mythology? I thought we'd be talking about cool monsters, not religious nonsense.
Despite what Reddit seems to have told you, cryptids aren't just ghost stories like the Wendigo and Skinwalker. It's a broad term that covers everything under the umbrella of cryptozoology, or animals unconfirmed to actually exist. To dumb it down for you, religious nonsense, as you so succinctly put it, can also be categorized as a cryptid. In fact, the Wendigo is basically just Native American mythology. With that cleared up, can you read the rest of the page before passing judgment?
I see now that my preconceived notions on this subject have been skewed by internet laymen. I'm sorry, Mr. Albao-aku.
Abang-aku.
I'm sorry, Mr. Abang-aku, for writing you off.
Thank you, sir. Perhaps if there were more people with the humility and understanding you possess, I could one day finally reach enlightenment.
Abang-aku is real?
Abang-aku is Indian?
I don't really want to think about the implications of that, so instead let's talk about atmospheric beasts.
According to eyewitness reports, these beings are, apparently, living creatures, but they break all the usual rules that the biologists apply to living organisms. They appear to be able to levitate without any need for wings, as well as their bodies are even depicted in a semi-solid, often partially invisible state.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. Why can't there be creatures who live in the atmosphere?
Science.
What do you know about science?
That in this house we believe in it.
Well, you know who I believe? NASA. Look at this page about NASA's jellyfish anomalies.
Aha. And who exactly are the sources on this claim?
It says here that in November 10th, 2013, Scott Waring discovered a new sighting of atmospheric jellyfish in the NASA archives.
Alright, so if I look up Scott Waring, then I should find this damning evidence that will shut me up.
That's just one of many accounts. Check this page out. King Xian flying jellyfish. On October 19th, 1999, a Chinese Air Force crew and at least 140 civilians saw a mushroom or jellyfish-shaped object with a bottom covered with bright dangling lights. Now, when has the Chinese government or media ever lied? If that doesn't somehow convince you, even the Canadians have spotted similar creatures. According to testimony supplied by UFO Sightings Daily...
Wait, that sounds familiar. I should have guessed.
Fine. You win. There probably don't exist perpetually airborne jellyfish or any other creature. But you do have to admit that the idea is pretty cool.
It certainly has untapped potential for a sci-fi concept. Alien big cats.
We can't possibly ignore a name like that. Alien big cats, or ABCs, and sometimes phantom cats, are not cats from outer space. Cusa, I think we've been clickbaited.
Indeed, but we're already here, so keep reading.
Sunk cost fallacy be damned. Instead, they are large cats that look something like black panthers, leopards, African lions, or cougars, but they are seen in Britain. Okay, so it's the lamest possibility you could think of for a name like phantom cats.
Next.
Ooh, bat-squatch. Click on that one.
I swear if this isn't what it sounds like, I'm suing.
The bat-squatch is a flying cryptid that was allegedly seen near Mount St. Helens in the 1980s. It resembles a flying primate. Yup, it's a flying Bigfoot.
Hallelujah.
This creature was said to have yellow eyes, a dog-like muzzle, blue fur, sharp teeth, bird-like feet, and leathery bat-like wings that span up to 50 feet. In addition, bat-squatch is said to be 9 feet tall and has the ability to affect car engines.
That last part is oddly specific.
Looks like it comes from the first sighting. The witness's truck apparently stopped before the bat-squatch landed in front of it.
It must have happened in every other sighting too then, right?
Nope, just that one.
Then how the hell do we know that's one of its powers and not just a coincidence? I mean, you could just as easily claim that it has the ability to sense when cars are broken down.
I don't know, man, but don't think about it too hard. How about you appreciate the concept of bat-squatch rather than the little details?
True. It's pretty swag.
Did you just say swag?
The cactus cat, Cactophylinus inebrius, is a mythical creature and fearsome critter that has been reported in the American Southwest.
Hold the fucking phone. Are we talking about an honest-to-goodness cactus cat right now?
You bet your ass we are. And dude is chill as hell too. Listen to this. Cowboys and pioneers of the 19th century made up tales these strange beasts coming out at night, slashing open cacti exposing the sap. On later nights, the creature was said to drink the fermented juice. This caused the cats to enter an intoxicated state, stumbling around and rarely attacking travelers. Attacks by these strange varmint, though considered rare, did happen from time to time, with many frontiersmen waking up to find welts on their body from the cat's barbed tail. Despite these attacks, the cactus cat was not considered an aggressive creature, except toward cacti.
This little guy is barely fearsome in the slightest.
You want to hear about some real fearsome critters then?
Sure, and hey, maybe one of them is whatever was chasing me.
A fearsome critter is a creature that was said, typically by lumberjacks, to inhabit the frontier wilderness of North America during the 20th century. Take for example, the funeral mountain pteroshot. It is said that the creatures live in little meadows and parks in the higher portions of the range, where they gradually increase in numbers, until by a strange impulse they are seized by a desire to emigrate. They then go on a disastrous journey across the desert, walking in single line. None will ever survive the journey as they cannot take the heat of the sun. Eventually they fall over and explode due to the intense heat and leave deep, grave-shaped holes in the sand.
Honestly, understandable. Sometimes I get the desire to leave the comfort of everyday life and go on a journey into the wilderness where I'll ultimately die to the elements.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Anyway, here's the GG bird. It's a strange bird described by soldiers who were positioned in Alaska. As the bird flew over, it could be heard saying, "GG Jesus, it's cold."
Terrifying to think such a creature could actually exist.
Not as terrifying as the gumbaroo, which, due to its rough skin, gumbaroo is impenetrable to any projectile, even bullets. However, its main weakness was said to be fire. The scarcity of gumbaroos was perhaps due to their combustible character and the prevalence of forest fires.
Do all fearsome critters have a low tolerance to heat?
Nah, I bet the GG bird would appreciate a nice, warm fire.
How about the hoop snake?
Let's see. The hoop snake moved itself by biting the back of its tail with its jaws, transforming its entire body into a wheel. It moved with lightning speed and was highly venomous, possessing a stinger at the tip of its tail.
Okay, now that actually is pretty fearsome. If I saw a snake rolling at me, I'd piss myself.
I'd shit myself, maybe even vomit a little. I'm about to do both just thinking about it, so let's move on to the opium pipefish. They wait for the opium that is thrown overboard when customs officials get too close on the trail of would-be smugglers. The opium pipefish live almost entirely on opiates. When hurried, they simply eat it. Otherwise, they hold it in their mouths until they find a nice sunny beach, where they can smoke it at leisure amidst pleasant dreams.
Now that is how you deliver on a promising name. Take notes, alien big cat.
That's one thing these fearsome critters all seem to excel at, including our next example, the snallygaster. It comes from the words Schneller and Geist in German, which literally translates to quick spirit, and lo and behold, it's just that. The snallygaster was described as half reptile, half bird with a metallic beak lined with razor-sharp teeth, occasionally with octopus-like tentacles. It swoops silently from the sky to pick up and carry off its victims. The earliest stories claim that this monster sucked the blood of its victims.
All jokes aside, that's pretty spooky. I mean, think about it. Many of these settlers are coming from a land an ocean away, and you can't exactly blame them for being scared of what fauna might terrorize this new land they were arriving in.
And it doesn't help that they'd see these spiritual sigils everywhere because of it.
Whoever started that rumor must have had one sadistic sense of humor.
Or maybe it wasn't just a rumor. It persisted for centuries, and even Mr. President Teddy Roosevelt himself bought into it.
What do you think the chances are that any of these fearsome critters are real?
Oh, next to none. But I like to believe. Because if there isn't an opium pipefish blissfully lazing on a beach somewhere, then I don't want to live on this planet anymore. Speaking of living on this planet, let's take a look at the next cryptid.
Really stretching with that transition.
Shut up and talk about the shore laddie.
The shore laddie has brownish-gray fur from which mussels and barnacles grow, a feature which lends it a distinctive scrape or jingle when it walks.
Whilst thought to be a herbivorous creature, the laddie has also been claimed to feed upon sheep and women, especially pregnant ones.
Okay, stop right there, because what the fuck? Shore laddie, are you serious? Women and sheep? I'm very disappointed in you right now, bud.
Eating pregnant women isn't even the worst of it. Listen to this. The creature is most commonly seen during sheep breeding season and is commonly accused of impregnating ewes and creating deformed lambs.
Ah, shore laddie, come on, man!
I used to know a guy who was a danger to women and wanted to fuck sheep. Maybe he was a shore laddie.
Pretty sure you're thinking of the Toronto Tunnel monster.
Speaking of four-legged monsters that attack sheep.
And you said my transition was stretching.
The crocodile is a globally distributed mythical dog wolf originating in India as well as Ethiopia. It has the ability to mimic human speech and uses this power to lure its victims to it, usually by pretending to be someone in trouble. The creature often uses a voice that the victim recognizes and sometimes calls the victim by name or includes other personal information in its cry for help.
Finally, we're back to the cool cryptids.
What? The shore laddie wasn't cool enough for you?
I don't find sexual predation cool, so no.
Wet blanket.
You know what else is cool about the crocodile? It's apparently been sighted across the world for many centuries, even in the modern day.
Plus, besides some dubious claims of telepathy, it's not out of the realm of possibility. A predator that adapted cry mimicry to lure in prey makes enough sense to me.
The ghost man seems to agree.
The ghostman? Who's that? Some cryptozoologist?
No, he just looks like some random Wiki user.
I wonder if he put that quote there himself.
Well, whatever the case, he makes a valid point. And I gotta say, the crocodile is a pretty neat little creature, real or not.
I think you're pretty cool too, Nymous.
I wasn't talking to you, Cusa.
Dude, that wasn't me.
Fuck off with that shit, man. It was your voice.
No, I'm dead serious.
Whatever, you're not gonna admit to anything, so let's just go on to the next cryptid.
That being, the Drekovac. It's a cryptid in South Slavic lore, which comes from the souls of children who have died unbaptized. Drekovac could be seen at night, especially during the 12 days of Christmas and in early spring, when other demons appear most often.
In the form of the child, it predicts someone's death, but in the form of the animal, it predicts cattle disease. Drekovac rarely bothers its parents, as it is afraid of dogs. It is often used as a child scare, in a similar way a banshee is in the West. Okay, wow. I can tell that was straight from the source because it was far from perfect English.
I feel like the Balkans may be the only place left in the world that still uses monsters as a scare tactic to make kids behave.
They're also the only place in the world where shit like this is still widely believed.
You're not joking. It says here that at least one person thinks it's a sort of man-made NATO bioweapon.
The Balkans sure seem like a fun region of the world, but let's move back over to the United States with the hide behind.
Hey, it's that thing from that one Gravity Falls short.
That's extremely reductive.
Well, it's true, isn't it? Look, it's even listed as an appearance on the Wiki page.
Sure, it's accurate, but how would you like your entire existence to be boiled down to? That guy I saw skulking around the gas station dumpsters that one time.
Alright, then what else does he do besides appear in Gravity Falls?
Are you serious?
You can't tell what the hide-behinds shtick is.
Nah, I'm just pulling your leg. Of course I know what he does. I watched the Gravity Falls short.
I'm going to the next one. Walpen has the body of a sheep and the head of a young calf. It had twisted feet with short front legs and a back end that resembles a seal.
It lives in pools and frequently mates with other herded animals.
The offspring produced has twisted muzzles and legs.
That sounds familiar.
It only comes out at night, and if a pregnant woman goes near this beast, then their child will be born with twisted legs and muzzles.
Attacking pregnant women and mating with sheep, aren't those the same traits of the shore laddie?
No, cuz the shore laddie was in Iceland, but the wallpen is native to Chile.
So you're telling me that these two cultures from completely separate parts of the world just so happen to both come up with this idea of an amphibious four-legged creature which has deformed babies with cattle and is dangerous to pregnant women?
Yes.
Well, I find nothing out of the ordinary about that. Carry on.
Alright, here's one called the Manananggal.
They mostly prey on sleeping, pregnant women, using an elongated proboscis-like tongue to suck the hearts of fetuses, or the blood of someone who is sleeping.
Oh, we have those in the US, except here we call them politicians. But on a serious note, what the hell is with pregnant women being a snack for these cryptids?
Don't knock it until you try it.
Are you saying you've eaten pregnant?
Mora or echinacea is a tiny fish which is 6 inches long that was mentioned in medieval bestiaries.
Despite its small size, the creature had the ability to stop a boat in its tracks when it attached itself to the hull. This is only possible because the mora had a sucker located on its head.
It lived in the polar seas and could freeze air with its breath.
These beasts caused the Roman general Mark Antony to lose a navy battle when the creature caught hold of their ships, immobilizing them.
Usually I'm willing to believe until proven otherwise, but it sounds to me like Mark Antony just lost the battle fair and square and blamed whatever he could to save face.
This is the one time you maybe should have suspended your disbelief, because these are actually close to real fish that we know exist today.
Well, minus the frost breath, and being an ingredient for love potions, and interference in court battles, and postponement of birth, that is.
I was about to question all that you just said, but no, I looked it up and those are actual properties which the Romans believed this fish had. Pliny the Elder unironically said all this shit.
At least they didn't believe this shit in the modern day with our current knowledge and information about the world.
That can't be said about our next case, the Ninjin.
Over the past few years, rumors have circulated in Japan about the existence of Arctic humanoid lifeforms inhabiting the icy waters of the Antarctic. Reportedly observed on multiple occasions by crew members of government-operated whale research ships, these so-called Ninjin are said to be completely white in color with an estimated length of 20 to 30 meters. Eyewitnesses describe them having a human-like shape, often with legs, arms, and even 5-fingered hands.
The only visible or identifiable facial features are the eyes and mouth.
So why are you so sure it's fake? It doesn't seem too far out there.
The story originated on 2chan.
Oh, fair enough then. Regardless, I think it's a pretty awesome concept for a cryptid given the vastly unexplored nature of the Antarctic.
True, any difficult to inhabit area is going to be ripe for rumors of a monster lurking within.
That includes the swamp, which is home to Nixie.
Nixie are humanoid and often shape-shifting water spirits in Germanic mythology and folklore. English folklore contains many creatures with similar characteristics to this.
These include Jenny Greenteeth, the Shellycoat, the river hag Peg Powler, the Bacchahost like Bragg, and the Grindylow. And all of them sound infinitely more lame than Nixie, so I'll just continue to call it that.
In Nordic tradition, it's called the Knock, which is derived from.
Derived from...
I don't think I should say that.
What? What's so bad about... Oh yeah, you might want to skip that.
Anyway, the enthralling music of the Knock was most dangerous to women and children, especially pregnant women and unbaptized children.
Oh come on, this is like the 4th mention of killing pregnant women.
And the 2nd mention of unbaptized children.
Let's just go on to the next cryptid because I've officially met my quota of pregnant women murder for the day.
Hopefully the Tsuchinoka won't make you exceed that quota. The Tsuchinoka is a snake-like cryptid from mountainous regions of western Japan. Although there are some dependencies throughout the various sightings, the Tsuchinoka is widely regarded to look like a very wide common snake with a central girth wider than its head and tail. A woman named Mitsuko Arima reported a Tsuchinoka swimming along a river. She describes her experience as follows. I was surprised. I just pointed at it and asked, "Who are you? Who are you?"
It didn't answer me, but just stared.
Was she expecting it to answer?
Some accounts say it can talk, though if I saw something like it, my first reaction wouldn't be to ask it a question. Anyway, here's an interesting tidbit. This creature is so well known and widely believed to exist in Japan that the government of Yoshi, Okayama once offered a 20 million yen, $200,000, award for the successful capture of a Tsuchinoka.
Did anyone ever catch one?
No, but one guy saw one and said that its face looked similar to that of Doraemon.
Huh. Well, it honestly doesn't seem too far-fetched to believe one could exist. Maybe it's just a very elusive and endangered species.
Some people say that it could be a blue-tongued skink being misidentified, but I don't know. That explanation seems pretty half-baked when you see what that animal looks like.
That thing's adorable.
It's a little adorable. But I've got another reptile that you probably won't think so fondly of. Two-toed Tom.
This better be good because it sounds amazing.
Don't worry, it is.
Two-toed Tom was a large 15-foot alligator with glowing red eyes. It terrorized local areas and was responsible for fatally attacking livestock and even people.
Its jaws were powerful enough to easily tear large prey to pieces, and its tail was able to flip over a full-grown horse in one lash.
It was given the nickname Two-Toed Tom because all but 2 toes were lost to a steel trap. I'm gonna paraphrase this next part because it's kind of insane. But basically, an Alabama man bought farmland in an area where Tom supposedly inhabited.
One day he discovered his mule brutalized, and suspected that Tom was the culprit.
He responded by blowing up the pond he found the mule's remains in with 15 sticks of dynamite. Tom responded by taking a bite out of his 12-year-old granddaughter, killing her. For the rest of his life, the man had it out for the gator, but would never be able to avenge his granddaughter before he passed away.
Holy shit. I thought this would be another funny, fearsome critter, not a gruesome tale of revenge.
It's about a 50-50 of being either one when it comes to cryptids.
In that case, I think I've seen enough creatures for the day. I've probably learned everything there is to know about cryptids at this point, though I can't quite recall what made me want to know so much in the first place.
Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention to whatever it was you were blabbering about right before all this.
Huh. Well, at least I got something out of this little journey.
And what's that?
That it doesn't matter if a story is made up, as long as it's entertaining.
Can't help but feel that that moral isn't one you'd want to teach to kids.